What is operant conditioning? It is a process of behavior modification in which the likelihood of a specific behavior is increased or decreased through positive or negative reinforcement each time the behavior is exhibited. There are two kinds of behavioral conditioning concepts. 1. Classical conditioning. 2. Operant conditioning. Our focus is on the latter, which is operant conditioning, so let us take a few minutes to compare the two. How does classical conditioning work? You may have heard of Pavlov's famous dog experiment where the dog salivated and responded to the sound of the bell. Classical conditioning involves pairing a previously neutral stimulus, such as the sound of a bell, with an unconditioned stimulus, the taste of food. The sound of the bell alone will start to evoke salivating as a response. In operant conditioning, the focus is on using either reinforcement or punishment to increase or decrease a behavior. Through this process, an association is formed between the behavior and the consequences for that behavior. That said, let us examine operant conditioning in more details. Operant conditioning was developed by B.F. Skinner, an American psychologist. He is regarded as the father of operant conditioning, although his work was founded on Edward Thorndike's law of effects. Skinner's model observed the behaviors of mostly rats and pigeons in a controlled environment, the operant conditioning chamber commonly known as the Skinner box. His experiments illustrated both positive and negative reinforcements. Some call it bribery. Skinner calls it operant conditioning.
Hi, Jermaine. I finished my work, you know. You finished already?
Yes, I finished.
Good. Oh, wow. Great. Excellent.
Get all right?
Yes. Jermaine, I have something for you.
What is it? What is it?
Oh,
you give me snacks, mommy. Thank you, mommy.
You deserve it, my dear.
Thank
Job
you.
well done.
So I can go play now?
Yeah, man, take a break.
All right, I'll balance you,
All right. Boy, Sherrette, I'm using behavioral psychology on him. Positive reinforcement. It's a thing called operant conditioning.
Okay.
Every time he does something good, I reward him. And once I reward him, next time he's going to maximize it.
That's great. So that's the third time I see you giving him
Yes,
something.
he's doing GSAT in January. Wasn't doing well in the math. And I started this and shoot to the
You're
top.
not afraid of the sweet
No.
thing.
Well, we'll work on that later.
All right, beautiful.
But for now,
beautiful.
he needs to go to Campion.
Okay, so positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement.
I'm going to try that. Thank you.
You should.
Send over a bunch of those
I
for me.
will do, my dear, later.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
In the role play scene earlier, GSAT student Jermaine receives a candy as a reward for the desired behavior, that is, receiving correct answers for the given assignment. Similarly, in Skinner's box, the lab rat received food pellets as a reward and electric shocks for punishment. Let us examine them in more details. We can find examples of operant conditioning all around us. A. Reinforcement is any event that strengthens or increases behavior. There are two kinds of reinforcers. 1. Positive reinforcers are pleasant events, outcomes, or rewards that follow after an operant response or behavior. In this picture, the child is rewarded with a star for a well-written paper. The second is negative reinforcers. These strengthen a given response by removing an unfavorable outcome after the display of a behavior. In the picture, the boy covers his face because he's afraid of the dark, so he's given a nightlight from his favorite cartoon character. B. Punishment. On the other hand, punishment is the presentation of an adverse outcome that causes a decrease in the behavior it follows. But there are two kinds of punishment. 1. There is a positive punisher. This is a stimuli that weakens a behavior by presenting an unpleasant response. It is used to reduce the future likelihood of the unwanted behavior. For example, scolding a child by putting him in the naughty corner because he ate a candy before dinner. 2. Negative punisher. This is also known as punishment by removal. It occurs when a favorable event or outcome is removed after behavior occurs. It is a stimuli that weakens a response by removing a positive stimulus. In the picture, the doll is taken away from the child because she was disobedient. There are a few criticisms of operant conditioning. Some of the criticisms of operant conditioning include the thinking that behaviorism does not account for other types of learning, especially learning that occurs without the use of reinforcement and punishment. People and animals are able to adapt to their environment and their behaviors when new information is introduced, even if a previous behavioral pattern has been established through reinforcement. Operant conditioning is believed to ignore cognitive processes. It assumes that learning only occurs through reinforcement and punishment, which is not true. It is also believed that it overlooks genetic tendencies and species, which are specific behavioral patterns which may influence behavior. We will look at a few of the implications it has for teaching. First, we'll look at shaping complex behavior. Complex behavior exists in the form of a chain of small behaviors. Control is required for such kinds of behavior. This extended form of learning is a shaping technique. Smallest behavior is controlled at the initial stage. On behalf of different contingencies, next order of chain of behaviors is controlled. For example, vocabulary is in English. Teaching spelling is mainly a process of shaping a complex form of behavior. Secondly, we'll look at classroom management. Operant conditioning is a vehicle for teachers to achieve behavior modification in order to improve classroom management and facilitate learning. In a classroom setting, a teacher might utilize operant conditioning by offering tokens as rewards for good behavior. The students can then turn in these tokens to receive some type of reward, such as a treat or extra playtime. In summary, we have learned that operant conditioning explains how consequences lead to changes in voluntary behavior by using two main components, which are reinforcement and punishment. Operant conditioning can be found and is everywhere in our daily lives.
Hey, Kim. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me take this in the hall. You'll never guess who they got to replace you with.
Okay. I know what you're doing.
Really?
Yes. You're using chocolates as positive reinforcement for what you consider correct behavior.
Very good. Chocolate?
No, I don't. Sheldon, you can't train my girlfriend like a lab rat.
Actually, it turns out I can.
Well, you shouldn't.
There's just no pleasing you, is there, Leonard? You weren't happy with my previous approach to dealing with her, so I decided to employ operant conditioning techniques, building on the works of Thorndike and B.F. Skinner. Yet by this time next week, I believe I can have her jumping out of a pool, balancing a beach ball on her nose.
I hope you have learned something today.